All right. So breathing from the heels. Just to introduce this too, I want to go over and review that exercise I shared in our feed in our community, in the 5 element sync community, the abdominal exercise, because this is really good. It's a great 5 element practice because it really nurtures all of your internal organs. And it's a really great precursor to abdominal breathing because it helps break up tension and stimulates the muscles in your abdomen and lower back and your fascia in those areas too. And I like to use it, like I said, as a precursor for abdominal breathing. And since that's what we're going to do, let's do some of our abdominal exercise. So put your hands, thumbs right above your navel, and make a little triangle with your hands there, and just bend the knees a little bit. And you can actually start practicing letting your weight sink on your heels and feeling your tailbone curl up a bit so that you can relax your lower back, curl that up, let the weight sink to the heels. And this, you don't need to be a stickler on. You can sometimes rock your weight forward, but for today, let's focus on the heels. That's our theme for today. So sink into the heels, your roots, and then you're pulling the abdomen in and pushing out. And this action, like I went over in the video I posted, is just simply pulling your belly button towards the spine, squishing all your internal organs, and getting the blood flow there, encouraging the fire energy and the warmth to sink down into your abdomen. So as you do this one, you'll feel the heat accumulating down in your abdomen as you continue. Don't worry about your breathing. Just breathe naturally. You don't need to breathe with each repetition. And then you can add one component to it, which is actually on its own a good exercise to ground your energy. And it's just tightening your root chakra, just tightening the perineum. So when you pull your belly in, you're tightening. And when you push out, you're relaxing. So you're energizing your root chakras and the lower abdomen. So this is one you want to do at least 100 times to really feel an effect. But you'll notice as you continue that you're stimulating the base of the lungs. You can feel it in your upper abdomen. You can feel it in your lower abdomen. And you just keep pulling in, pushing out. And I'll show you in the coming days here, I'll just show you some different postures that you can do this exercise in, because it does have a different effect based on what position you're holding. Feel your belly, feel the heat accumulate. It also helps just to kind of gaze down at the ground, just to kind of guide your energy, make it rooted. Okay. And then again, intermittently, even if you just do 20 times, and then feel your breath to the belly. So you inhale and exhale. And when we breathe to the belly, we generally want to breathe in and out through the nose, with our tongue touching the roof of the mouth and our mouth closed. For your first few breaths, I like to kind of straighten the knees with the inhale. Push your heels to the ground as you inhale, and then relax. And you feel your belly expand when you inhale. And then you can just hold the knees bent. And remember too, in this water element time and with abdominal breathing, it requires our will. It really does. And most importantly, our concentration and our time, that we keep our attention down in the abdomen because the energy follows our attention. And I'm going to be covering more about that too, about how you can really have effective breathing. It's not just about the movement of your abdomen, but it's about the placement of your attention down in your lower dantian. So with the knees bent, feel the heels sink into the earth, lower back relaxed so the tailbone just sinks and curls up, and breathe to the belly. Heels sink into the earth, shoulders relaxed, lower back relaxed, tailbone curled up, and breathe into the belly. Heels sink into the earth. Take one more breath into your abdomen. And just for good measure, one more time. Feel your belly expand as you breathe in. Okay. So it's amazing how doing that, even with just 100 abdominal exercise and then just a few breaths, a few abdominal breaths, how that can energize you at any time. And I like to do that, especially in the morning, getting out of bed, energy stagnant, and just doing the abdominal exercise, sitting or standing, it really clears the fogginess of the mind by bringing that fire energy down and activating your physical energy. So I recommend practicing that. And then there's another exercise I wanted to share that's really good for just day to day. So in my Qigong sharing in the community, I'm going to occasionally give you a form and a flow of maybe 2 or 3 movements or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, 8 movements in a row. But that's primarily the content that I have available in my online courses. But I also want to share just little things you can do during the day, just while you're driving or while you're sitting at your desk. And one of the exercises I've found to be really powerful lately is driving. I do a lot of driving. I also do a lot of sitting in my desk. So just tightening the hips, as I was explaining earlier, all of these principles like breathing from the heels can be applied not just while you're standing or doing a standing qigong form, but while you're lying down or sitting down. So if you're driving in your car, in your whatever position you're in, what generally happens is all that energy compresses in your lower back. It's tight, your hips get stuck and stagnant. And one way to correct that is just to practice tensing your hips just way deep down into the ball and socket of that hip joint. Okay. And as you're sitting, just consider that your heels. Okay. Your hips are your heels. And then as you're tightening, just hold that tension and you allow that tension to be your root. And that allows your shoulders and your chest to relax, tense hips. And then you also want to release as much as you can in the lower back and abdomen. And then breathe to the belly. And you may not get that deep, satisfying abdominal breath on your first breath, but if you're driving for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you'll get that energy activated there and it'll start to fill up. It'll keep your chest and your heart chakra open and even help release tension in your neck and shoulders. So again, just the core pieces of that, tensing the hips, and you can do this in your sitting meditation too. I'll practice this from time to time. Tense hips, but then everywhere above the hips, you try to relax as much as you can so that your hips are really the root, the energy sinks there, it's your foundation, and then you breathe to the belly. One more time. All right, good. You can tap your hips a little bit and sweep down your legs.